this part of it. But one of the things that I hear a lot of is that when people have left the faith or deconstructed, hell is something that still kind of haunts them.
Yeah, that's like the last piece to go usually.
Because I mean, if you're raised to think that you're going to, get lit on fire,
And then you decide you don't believe in it
die,
anymore.
and then reborn, and then keep getting lit on fire, it's a stressful thing. We have a guest in the guest box. Let's go ahead and see if this works.
Yeah, help us test this out. Oh, it's Rachel.
You're our first caller.
Hi.
Oh, hey, how's it going? Can you hear us okay?
Yeah.
All
Just
right.
fine.
I can hear you too. That's so great.
I love that. Now, if we could only get messages.
That sounds like an issue.
It's a spinning circle. Like, I have dozens of them.
When I text her, our messages aren't going through.
And it's not just you. It's other people too. I don't know what's going on.
Well, this is way better anyway. We'll just, it's more live.
I get to hear your beautiful voice.
Yeah, I love that.
So what are your thoughts? Did you, so I assume you have deconstructed if you're joining the combo here. Did you have a hell moment where you were like, oh shit, I might be burning forever?
No.
Oh, good.
Well, I missed the first part of your thought, so I don't know what you guys have been talking about, but no, I just not some random hell moment. I just spent 12 years in Catholic school just being, pounded all the time, all of these.
Like literally pounded or just pounded into your head?
No, but
I was I have to ask.
No, right. But I was a very, very ADHD little girl, and it was the 90s. And so, I got into a lot of trouble all the time for talking and things like that. But, it was like anytime you did something you weren't supposed to do, it was a sin, and you had to go to confession and you had to do this and you weren't living in Jesus's way. And they just spent forever shaming you. So it always felt like I was going to go to hell no matter what I did, just because I existed in the way that I existed.
So I was not part of Catholicism at all. So I was raised Protestant. Adele was Catholic of the family. But so I don't understand, walk me through that. So did you believe in hell when they were doing that? You really thought that you were going to go to hell basically
Oh yeah. I mean, it was so heavily depicted. And, I went to mass 3 times a week because we went twice a week during school. And so it was just, prayer after prayer.
Did they have you do confession every time?
No, but they did have scheduled confessions for every class.
So I wasn't in Catholic school, so I was the CCD kid that all the Catholic school kids hated because we sat in your desks after hours.
I didn't hate any CCD kids.
What is CCD?
It's the
it's
the
Catholic teaching,
but you don't go to Catholic school, but you still need to learn all the stuff.
Oh, interesting.
So we had to go every Wednesday and learn after hours. But we would go to the Catholic school and sit in their desks, and all of us would just sit there and play with all of their stuff, and then they'd come into school the next day and complain about the CCD kids.
Yeah. So I was the kid that I was an altar server. I sang in the choir on Sundays. I did all of those things. When I was in high school, I protested at George Tiller's clinic.
Was that a Planned Parenthood type of thing, or?
No, it was an abortion. It's our abortion clinic here.
Got you. Yeah.
George Tiller was very well known in Kansas as the primary abortion doctor. And unfortunately, he got murdered.
What?
Yeah.
I've never even heard the name. I'm going to have to look him up. You said George Tiller?
Mm-hmm.
It's
been a few years since he got murdered, but.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that is probably one of the reasons why I'm excited about doing this, is so that, women can have, rights over their reproductive system and, not then those people might not get murdered moving forward.
And
Jeez.
so I was really, really into it. So much that, like when they do March for Life in Washington, D.C., I rode a bus with my school and went to it. So, I was really into it, even up until, when I was like in my first marriage, I was very into it. We baptized all the kids. My children have all gone to Catholic school, all of those things. And then, I lived my life as best as I could and as honorable as I could, following God and his teachings. And my life still sucked. Like it didn't change anything, but what it did is it made me fearful, and it made me
shameful.
Yeah, and it made me feel really lonely, because I felt like, in my marriage, obviously, like that wasn't the greatest thing. But I felt like I couldn't get out of it because that was such a huge sin, and I was going to have to live my life like this, right? And so when my ex-husband and I divorced, or not divorced, but we had separated, his dad came down and talked to us, and we talked about a lot of things, and he was trying to, convince me that it's my God duty as a woman to stay in my marriage and be submissive to my husband, even so much as I told him, and he's a former priest, by the way. He was a priest, and he left his community and got married to my ex-husband's mom, who had been a nun and also left her community, and they got married. So they're not, like, this is kind of pot calling kettle black over here. But he so much wanted to convince us to stay married that it didn't matter to him the kind of abuse that I was having to take, and the fact that my children were openly talking about how unhappy they were, and they were so little. But it really
divorce is the worst thing you could do. So
right, yeah,
figure it out.
Right. So what really got me was when I, obviously, as you know, Adele, it was a long time that I wasn't very into my ex-husband. But, I had to deal with it because I needed to get my nursing degree so I could have, have a life. So I could have a way out and be able to support myself and my kids. So we were talking, and I told him, I said, because we started talking about, sex in marriage, in a Catholic marriage. And I said, I don't really want to have sex with him. I'm not, I don't want to. So, but my ex-husband was very adamant about it and really wouldn't take no for an answer. And so it wasn't like a physical forciveness, but it was a coercion. And it was, I'm only nice to you when you give me what I need. Like and he wasn't nice to me really ever. He was only nice to me.
And that's really sad, because it's literally like late Bronze Age mentality that like women were essentially property of the father or the husband. And so it's like consent only went one way, weirdly. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And it's somehow we've hung on to like a 2,000-year-old book and it wasn't even a book back then. So we've hung on to 2,000-year-old.
It was a whole bunch of random fables.
Right, exactly. And somehow we think that still applies today, even though we've grown as a society. And it's like, it blows my mind, actually. So when did you step away then? So you were in the Catholic school.
That day was a big, that conversation was, I think, the solidifying thing, because the man looked at me and he said to me, as a Catholic wife in a Catholic family, regardless of how you feel, it's your duty to serve your husband in that way and please him, even if you don't want to. Like, you can't say no.
I was literally at a wedding, and Adele was there as my witness, among other people. And I literally, during this wedding, I could tell right away this was going to,
Well,
where this was going.
There was a washing of feet. So we were like, okay, let's get to the point where they say you have to serve your husband forever. And it happened.
I was like, within 10 minutes, prophet, I was being a prophet. Within 10 minutes, the pastor's going to say, and submit to your husband. And sure enough, literally, that is.
And I just couldn't get past that.
Was there like a day for you, or was it gradual? Like, is there a particular day you remember being like, okay, I
think it was really gradual. Like, I just started seeing how harmful the church was. And I started seeing the hypocrisy of it. And
that's where I started.
Yeah. And, my kids went to Catholic school. We were into it. We went to church, but
their names, I'm not going to say them, but their names are very biblical.
Well, but it wasn't that. I mean, one time, I'll just say his name, Abram was born, I introduced him to the priest and he said, "Oh, Abraham." And I was like, "No." And the priest looked at me like I was the freaking devil because I named him Abram, which obviously was Abraham's name before he found God, or before And so he was like, "That's weird." And I'm like, "It's not, it's a great name," And so, I just was in it and I stayed in it. We weren't going to church as much. I was suffering a lot of verbal, emotional, mental abuse. And I think that had a big part of it. Like, I stopped seeing the good in the person that pretends like he's Catholic, but not,
Right,
Yeah. There's so much of the pretense, like, because I say and do these things, the rest of my behavior doesn't matter. And that fell apart for me so young.
Yeah. So it was kind of gradual. As I sort of like broke away from him and started really, and then I became a nurse, and that, like, I've always been empathetic, but that really brought it out, and as I saw all these people from all walks of life, all sexualities, all everything, and all I wanted to do was just keep them going.
Right.
And I just started realizing, as I encountered all these different people, that I was being a total asshole.
I love you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, self-awareness is really important. And I wasn't self-aware. I was self-righteous. And I fortunately broke out of that so I could start seeing other people. And not only that, I could be a better nurse. And so,
because you weren't judging people and taking care of them.
Right. And so from there, it kind of came together. And then, through the divorce, it was hard. I got a lot of criticism for being a Catholic woman who divorced my husband, and I started realizing, because I was a staunch Republican too. Like, I was the person that was like, abortion is a sin and all those women deserve to die. I was that person. But, I started looking at it and it's like, well, that woman can't have that baby because it's an ectopic pregnancy. But you want her to carry it, she's going to die. There's no way to survive that. So coming to these realizations and seeing, like, opening my mind to, like, but the what ifs, like the lady who was incubated for however many months while the baby was, inside of her,
they like kept her alive.
Yeah. Like,
that was horrifying.
It was so awful. And if anybody knows anything about keeping people like on a vent and all of those things to keep them alive, it is a bad, like, everything breaks down. The tissue doesn't, like, it's awful. Anyways, I digress. But like, so I really started seeing humankind for what it was, and like seeing the good in people instead of seeing the sin in people. Like, so my whole perception changed. And honestly, who was I to even judge people? Like, I wasn't some great human being that did awesome things, you know? Like, I was nice to people, but you know, I was a bully too sometimes. Like, and I wasn't always honest, and I slept around and, you know, whatever. But
yeah,
but it didn't make me a bad person, but I thought it did.
It's interesting. It's
you
interesting
just don't talk about it.
how the values change. It's more. It's like and not. It's just interesting because like not every not every person of faith is a bad person, but not every person without faith is a bad person. It really boils down to like what's your driver. The problem is that there's these old teachings that I think unfortunately make good people bad. I know that I was a much worse person than I am now, back when I held to those things, because like, just like you said, it's like, I saw people for who they were instead of for their sin. It's like, you're kind of
or the
taught
opposite. When you were a believer, you saw the sin.
sin.
not
Yeah,
the
yeah,
person.
exactly. Cause you're taught that like everyone is inherently evil. So by default, the default position of a person when you meet them, this is an
Prove
evil
to me
person.
that you're worth my time. Prove to me that
Maybe,
you're holy enough.
yeah, exactly. We've got another guest here.
We